Today on the channel, it's top 10 season, and we're counting down my top 10 WWE Mattel figures of 2021. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Kyle Peterson top 10 list. And today, we've got a special one on the channel, as really wrestling is the lifeblood of the channel. I think most people that watch my videos probably watch for the wrestling content, but I appreciate all you guys out there. But today is a pretty fun one, as we're doing a top 10 WWE Mattel Elite figures of 2021, and there has been so many Mattel figures this year, between the one-off store exclusives, the collector's editions, the main Elite lines, the Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, WrestleMania sublines, and of course ringside exclusives, and a whole lot more. So a lot of figures to pick from this year. Always an interesting year, always an interesting lineup from Mattel. They always give us a nice mix of current day wrestlers, of course, but then a lot of legends. And it feels like we're getting to the end of legends, but we're not really at the end of the day. There's always new legends and always new surprises around the corner. And this year was no different. Some surprise people in my top 10 list, some people you knew that would be in the top 10 list, but we'll see where it all goes. And I'm asking you guys, as always with these top 5, top 10 countdowns, get your list together. Put it in the comments down below. Put it in order, though. 1 being your favorite, 10 being your 10th favorite. Put them in that order. That's the hard part. It's really easy to rattle off a couple of figures here and there, but putting them in order, that's the challenging piece of the puzzle, and that's what we're going to do here today as we count down my top 10 list. So let's kick it off. Let's start at number 10. All right, we kick off my top 10 Mattel figures of 2021 with a collector's edition. Yes, the collector's edition, usually a Walmart or a Target exclusive. You can only get them at the store they're exclusive to, unless you're overseas, stuff like that. And every once in a while, Ringside Collectibles will get one of these, but primarily they're made for the Walmarts and the Targets. And number 10 for me was one I was excited for. A deep, deep, deep cut. A character that's had many different personalities over the years, and this is one of his deepest cuts. And I love it when Mattel gives us things like this. A deep cut in the Elite line, and the perfect place for it is the exclusive. I know a lot of people don't like it, but if you take that business step back, if he was in the same amount as a Roman Reigns or some of the other guys out there, you'd probably see these peg warming all over the place. So that's a way to keep the distribution low, but giving the collectors, since it is a collector's edition, a bit of a special release. And that's how this one felt to me. And by no means is this my favorite persona of the character, but it's so goofy, it's so out there, it had to be on my list, and that's why it comes in at number 10. And who am I talking about? We're talking about the Target Collector's Edition from Elite 88. We're talking about the Zodiac. Not to be confused with another Mattel release of the Zodak in the He-Man line, but we're talking Zodiac, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, a favorite from my childhood. I know a lot of people don't like the Barber, but I loved the Barber as a kid. But I love the Zodiac as well. Face paint, tassels, man, sign me up. You know I'm here for that. But just such a cool deep cut, and sometimes these deep cuts wiggle their way into your list because you're not expecting it. It's out of left field. It's a great looking figure. It's something different. It's something special. It's a moment in time, and we are severely lacking, in my thoughts, and I'm sure David C. Anderson out there, he'd agree with me, we need more WCW characters from back in the day, and this fits that mold. We're getting those Dungeons of Doom characters, putting those all together, but keep the WCW stuff coming. We got Big Boss Man as WCW gear this year as a Chase attire. We always get the NWO stuff every once in a while, but I'd love to see some more deep cuts from WCW, and I hope in 2022 we will get some of those. But number 10 for me, it scratches that itch. It gives me something different. It gives me a character in face paint. It is the Zodiac. All right, number 9 is going to be a surprise to a lot of you people. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there, you guys know Kyle and what Kyle loves for his figures and his characters out there. And this one is my all-time favorite. And who am I talking about? You know who I'm talking about at number 9. It is the Ultimate Warrior. It is the ringside exclusive Ultimate Warrior. Yes, ringside exclusive, and you guys know I had to get a couple of these. Had to have one out of the box, one in the box. That's how you have to do. You have to get 2, at minimum 2 of every single Ultimate Warrior. And a lot of you guys are probably surprised this is so low, even though it's in the top 10 on my list. Well, I tell you what, it's a nice package. It's a nice exclusive. It is the Ultimate Warrior. I love the Ultimate Warrior. But there's some things that work against this. So my overpowering warrior love puts this at the top of the house, and then it starts getting cut down for some reasons out there. I do personally, and maybe that's just me, Classic Superstars Series 12, I prefer that Ultimate Warrior. It's just it's a moment in time. It's what I like. I love the different packagings on that one. This one is good, some good colors on it, things like that. But the hair and the face really take this one down. And this is probably one of my least favorite Mattel Ultimate Warriors when things are said and done. Still going to be on my list. Still here at number 9. Still a great exclusive. I think they just missed a few things on this one, and that's why it's so far down my list. But it's still a must-have for you Ultimate Warrior fans out there, you elite collectors, you exclusive collectors. Like I said, ringside collectible exclusive. A beautiful figure with just some flaws, primarily in the head sculpt department. And that's why he's so far down my list. He's still in the top 10, but he's a little ways down there at number 9. All right, we're at number 7. And first thing before we get to number 7, I want to mention you make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you give this video a like. You guys know the drill by this point. Hopefully you're enjoying these top 10 countdowns as we're counting down everything on the channel that we unbox. We're talking Marvel Legends. We're talking G.I. Joe. We're talking He-Man, Ninja Turtles. Wrestling, of course, many different wrestling, and we got a lot of year-end countdown lists, so make sure you subscribe. Check out the ones we've already done, and we got a lot more to come in the next couple of weeks. So strap in, make sure you subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And one thing I always say, too, is, hey, if you like or you want a more detailed review on any of these figures from any of these lists I do, there's a video on the channel for it. I've unboxed all of these on the channel. I have personal experience with these. Nothing against other top 10 lists out there, but I find it very hard to list that you really like a figure when you've never owned the figure or had the figure. I mean, I get it. You could look at pictures and stuff, but I feel like you understand it and you let it breathe and you live with it when you own it. But that's me. Everybody has their own rules. That's why this is my list. And as usual, put your list in the comments below. But number 7 for me, coming from Elite Series 89. Elite Series 89 is a phenomenal set. And like I said, we unboxed this on the channel. But I never thought this character would be in my top 10 list, as we've had a lot of figures of him between the basics and the elites over the last couple of years. But I don't want to say they're blah, but I'm going to say they're blah. And this one took it to the next level, as we like to say on the channel. This one stepped it up a notch from the same old we felt we've got. We've got him before with different coats on, things like that. Well, this time in Elite 89, we got him extra special. Who am I talking about? We're talking about Drew McIntyre. We got him with a kilt. We got him with a sword. Angela, named after my wife, I'm sure. A beautiful Drew McIntyre. The best Drew McIntyre figure of all time. If we were doing a top 5 Drew McIntyre figures, this would be number 1. It's so crazy how you give the guy a sword, a kilt, pinless joints, and all of a sudden it's like a whole new character compared to, you know, the Survivor Series, NXT, the Elite lines, the top pick ones, plus the basics we've gotten over the last couple of years. This is truly a next level Drew McIntyre. If you're only having one Drew McIntyre in your collection, I'm pretty sure this is the one you want. Just absolutely beautiful, beautiful head sculpt, and like I said, pinless joints, kilt, sword. Have we got a sword accessory before? I think this is a first, so definitely a must-have. Hasn't hit the store pegs yet, but once it's out there, I gotta think this one's gonna be a popular one. Very, very cool across the board, and that is why Drew comes in at number 7 on my top 10 list. All right, we're at the number 7 point, and number 7, he comes from Elite Series 89. We're seeing a little bit of a pattern. Elite Series 89, and truth be told, this character, this wrestler, I never thought would ever make it to Raw and SmackDown. I followed this guy from back to Ring of Honor days, and I just said, I just don't see it. I just don't see him moving to the next level, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to admit when I'm wrong, and I'm definitely wrong, as this guy is on the Raw brand currently, is currently the United States champion. You guys know who I'm talking about. At number 7, Damian Priest. And man, might not be my favorite wrestler of all time, but no doubt in my mind how good this figure is, with possibly one of the best head sculpts of the entire year. I thought they blew this one away. They blew the hair away. The extra accessories, the hands, that you can tell a story in the posability with his hands. I threw this United States title on him from Apollo Crews, but that being said, but the vest on here, and then the purple and silver, the tattoos, of course, bigger figure. This thing pops. There is no denying how well this figure pops. Just an absolutely beautiful first time in the line, Damian Priest. First time in the Elite line. He did have a basic that was pretty subpar, but first time in the Elite line, couldn't get much better than this. It'll be interesting if they can actually top this figure the next time. And I got to think there's going to be another one based on WrestleMania, or maybe a Bad Bunny 2-pack, or probably Bad Bunny by himself one of these days, if it's like Rob Gronkowski. But Damian Priest, this figure, such a slam dunk. I think along with Drew McIntyre, this one will go off the shelves just because of how cool it looks, how realistic and lifelike it feels. Fabulous, fabulous figure. That is why he comes in at number 7 for me. All right, we're at number 6, and number 6 comes from Elite 90. And truth be told, you guys that follow along, and I appreciate each and every one of you, I put a poll up on my Twitter, SirPaul64, and I put one up on my YouTube community tab. And I said, hey, does 88 and 89 count for 2021? To me, they do not count. They are 2022 packaging. They are going to hit the store pegs in 2022. But you guys voted unanimously in both polls that, yes, I should count these. But my question back to you guys is, if you buy a car in August of 2021, it's a 2022. So what do you count it out? So when you tell everybody it's 2022, but really it's a 2021, you don't say that. So you got to kind of look at it from all angles there. But hey, I'm a man of the people, as you guys know. So we're counting 89 and 90 as part of 2021. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. And we go to 90, Elite 90 with this pick. And who am I talking about? Who is number 6? An awesome figure, a big figure. Very cool. Bronson Reed, first time in the line, last time in the line, unfortunately. And actually, Bronson Reed will be wrestling about 2 miles from my house here in about less than a month away. So I might be able to see him. Might pick up another one and get him to autograph it. Who knows? But Bronson Reed, man, talk about missing the mark. Out of all the cuts this year from the WWE, and there was so many great wrestlers, which really makes me worried about the future of the Elite line, because the pool just shrunk a ton, and you can't just give the same guys. We can't just get Miz and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins and Roman over and over. We need some new blood, but unfortunately, the new blood is so new, it's too early to get figures for. So it's really going to be an interesting 2022 with AEW coming on strong, and we'll talk about that on the channel more. So it's going to be, 2022 is going to be like nothing we've ever seen in the wrestling figure game ever before. It's going to be a banner year. It's going to be one we'll tell our grandchildren about someday, I'm sure. But number 6 for me, Bronson Reed. Beautiful. Big figure, has that going for him. And then the soft goods. The Bam Bam Bigelow inspired. You want to touch Kyle in nostalgia feels? Old Bam Bam Bigelow, a favorite of mine. Very happy to get. Bronson is the first time in the line, but in this gear. This is his best gear he ever had, in my opinion. This is from the NXT... one of the pay-per-views. I can't remember off the top of my head. But just a fabulous figure. Fabulous head sculpt, fabulous size, and then, like I said, the soft good Bam Bam Bigelow inspired jacket, tattoos, the hands, just everything you want in a Bronson Reed figure. Very cool. I know Bronson Reed is a figure guy, so it's got to be extra cool for him to get a figure. I know his career didn't go quite the way he wanted to with WWE, but it sounds like between New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact, and the Indies, he's got a spot. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, there's not a lot of big guys around in the wrestling business compared to the 80s and 90s. So Bronson, he definitely fits a niche out there. He is definitely going to be a star on the rise, in my opinion. And I'm happy at least we got one Elite figure of Bronson Reed, and that's why he's at number 6. All right, we're at the halfway point of the top 10 countdown. We are at number 5, and make sure you put your list in the comments down below, and like I said, put them in order. But number 5 is my favorite current WWE superstar. You guys probably know where I'm going with this. This guy stole my heart many years ago when he was a part of the UFC, part of the Ultimate Fighter. As you guys know, I'm an old school UFC fan. My fandom has waned the last few years. Kind of the rise of Conor McGregor is where my rise of fandom dropped, which is kind of the opposite of the normal people, but that's, I guess, how I live my life most of the time. But I loved this guy from the word go, and I love him even more now that he's in the WWE. Talk about $1 million to one shot. A lot of people never thought he would be able to go there for a few different reasons. But he's there. He's tag team partners with Randy Orton, and he's living his best life in the WWE on the Raw brand currently. Who am I talking about? You know it. The Ultimate Bro, the old Stallion Battalion leader. We're talking about Matt Riddle. fabulous Matt Riddle figure. We've had a few Matt Riddles already, some basics and some elites, but this elite figure is his best one, and I gotta assume we're gonna get a lot more. I'm sure we're going to get a scooter in 2022 with him. So there's going to be a lot of cool Matt Riddle figures, and I'm here for that. But as of right now, the orange and the blue, how awesome these are, how well they pop together. Of course, the sandals, we got white sandals with his other one, the black sandals here. Then once again, the hands. Just a simple hand switch makes this so much more expression to it. And just laughability. You look at this, you can't help but smile when you look at this figure. At least I can't help but smile when I look at this figure. Matt Riddle, this is what I wanted out of a Matt Riddle figure, and that is why he comes in on my list at number 5. All right, we're here for number 4 now. We're getting towards the end, and every year in the list, there's a figure that was released very early in the year. Early 2021 in this case. And some of those get an unfair rap, and I think when best of lists come around, they're forgotten about. Well, a lot of us remember the most current stuff, the stuff we're seeing on pegs, maybe a set or two behind. But when you're thinking of those figures that came out in January or right at the beginning of the year, usually they get forgotten. And that's what I feel this one. And this is very possibly the most underrated figure of the year, possibly of all time. I don't know. I don't know if I'll go that far, but definitely in 2021, I feel this is the most underrated figure in 2021. And who am I talking about? Well, we're going all the way back to Elite 81. Yes, it seems like a million years ago, but Elite 81, who am I talking about? I'm talking about Jerry the King Lawler. Now, I've loved Lawler for a long time as a little kid. It's just a moment in time, Lawler, back then. But a lot of us love him from his commentary, his time on Monday Night Raw. I love his early New Generation era when he first came to the WWE, feuded with Bret Hart, all that kind of fun stuff. And anytime I get a Jerry Lawler figure, I'm over the moon. I'm picking it up day one. I'm never going to miss a Lawler figure. His feud with Andy Kaufman, just groundbreaking. I was a huge David Letterman fan as a little kid. So I rented all these VHS tapes, and they had the Andy Kaufman one, into the Andy Kaufman special. Lawler, the best punches of all time in wrestling. A guy that looks just like your average Joe or like your uncle or something like that, but just a world beater. When that strap came down, you knew things were on. It just really is an amazing piece. And, I show my kids Jerry Lawler. They don't get it. But if you were there, and people older than me, they were there younger than me. He's just something special in the ring back then. And then, of course, like I said, everybody for his commentary and stuff. But this, for the New Generation era, I guess we'd say the Bret Hart feuds, just a phenomenal figure. Obviously, the Jerry the King Lawler, you're going to get a crown. You're going to get a cape. He's been rocking cape season. Cape season never leaves for him. Guys like Lando Calrissian, Jerry the King Lawler, it's cape season year-round. They are trendsetters, but a phenomenal cape here. A beautifully designed cape, see-through, different colors to it. Just awesome. Like I said, the crown, and then the head sculpt. It looks like Jerry from the time frame. Beautiful, tight design. That is not an easy design to get on a figure. Extremely underrated. I think most top 10 lists, and you guys know how I do it on the channel. I don't look at other people's top 10 lists. I don't look at other reviews until I've done mine because I don't want to be influenced by anybody else. I got to see my stuff first, then I'll look at other stuff. I'm guessing a lot of people don't have this Lawler. This is definitely the sleeper figure of 2021 from the Mattel Elite line, in my opinion. And I'm sure there's got to be somebody out there that agrees with me, but I feel like a lot of people won't have this on the list because it was released so early in 2021, and it's forgotten about for a lot of people. But it's not forgotten about by me, and that's why he's coming in at number 4. All right, we're down to the final 3. Any guesses on my top 3 figures? I don't know. Make sure you're putting your list in the comments below as well. But number 3 was one of my most anticipated figures of the year. And this is a figure I've been screaming about for the last few years, saying, I want it. I hope this comes out. This is what we need to come out with. And when Mattel announced they were coming out with this guy, in the collector's edition, of course, Walmart exclusive with this one, when they announced it, boy, my phone lit up between Twitter messages, Instagram messages, text messages, all the fun stuff that, hey, they've been listening to you at Mattel. I don't know, won't go that far, but man, this was a true figure I was looking forward to. This was a true figure I had anxiety for. This is a true figure I was on the hunt for. There was a lot of people finding this, and still to this day, in the 14 Walmart stores I hit on a regular basis, I never saw this figure once. I never saw the cases for this set once. I don't know what's up with the Walmart distribution in my area. I had to go on a business trip to Minnesota, South Dakota, and Missouri to come across this figure. And some people might say, no left behind. And who are we talking about? We're talking about the Warlord. No Warlord left behind. And as you guys know, this was my dad's favorite wrestler. When I was a little kid, I remember my dad, I was all Warrior, of course, Ultimate Warrior, and LOD, Demolition, the Horseman, stuff like that. Dad, who's your favorite? And he would always say the Warlord, because Kyle, if this was all in the up and up, he'd kill everybody. He's the biggest jacked up dude. So always kind of a joke with my dad. And if you guys saw on the channel this year, I had my dad come over to unbox this figure with me. My dad did a top 5 Warlord countdown with me. So we had a lot of fun with Warlord Anxiety this year. Just a lot of fun around this Warlord figure and the hunt for this figure. Got my dad one of these figures as well on my trip when I found it. But it's everything I love in a figure. It's a big figure. It's got pinless joints. It's got face paint. He's got a crazy hairdo. It's the Warlord. But, you know, that being said, there are a few things that make you sad about this. You see this great Warlord figure that we just love, but then you say, where's the Barbarian? Are we ever going to get that Barbarian? I don't know if it'll happen. I think Mattel did the right thing. I don't know how long the rights are for the Warlord. They got this out. Maybe they can get the Barbarian signed, and then we'll get our matching figure. I hope that happens. It always feels weird getting these tag team members solo. But that being said, I'm just happy we got a Warlord at the end of the day. I'd rather have a Warlord and no Barbarian than no Warlord at all. That's how I sit on this, and as you guys know, I sit right here at this table. But this Warlord, he does have a short neck on him, but I don't hold that against him. But it's just for what it represents in my life and for the fun I had hunting it. And then, of course, face paint, all that kind of stuff as well. It doesn't get a lot better for me than this Warlord figure, and that's why he comes in at number 3. All right, the electricity's in the air. We're down to it. We're down to the top 2. Who are my 2 favorite Mattel Elite figures of 2021? Well, number 2 is another exclusive to a store. That store, Ringside Collectibles. And this, for sure, is one of the best figures in the last few years. Not just 2021, but the foreseeable years. This would be top 5 of the last probably 3 years, at least for me. I'd have to do the math and break it all out. But a phenomenal figure that I thought was going to be great going into it, but blew me away once I got it in hand. And you guys know I don't buy a lot of mint on cards of figures. I don't buy a lot of doubles, but this one was so nice. Old Kyle had to buy it twice. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about the Ringside Collectibles exclusive, Cactus Jack. Bang, bang, indeed. Cactus Jack, my favorite face of Foley, a guy I followed from the GWF, USWA days as a small kid through WCW to ECW to the WWF, WWE. I followed basically the whole career of Mick Foley, at least when he was known on a more national stage. So to get a representation of Mick Foley in an ECW shirt from this era of ECW, yes, the title belt is wrong, but the packaging phenomenal on this one, the background phenomenal that comes out, the figure blowing me away. And it's so great how good this Mick Foley Cactus Jack figure turned out. As we all remember, a year ago, he was one of the worst figures of 2020, that WrestleMania exclusive Mick Foley figure that was just god-awful in the face. Just horrible. Looked more like Dr. Death Steve Williams on a bad night. But this Cactus Jack, between the soft goods and then once again the hands mean so much. I'm so glad Mattel went to the extra hands over the last couple of years, because the Bang Bang hands set this bad boy off. Cactus on the side, you get the beautiful boots. Just fabulous figure all around. I'm not sure if it's still available on ringsidecollectibles.com. Use discount code Kyle, save 10% if they are. But this is one you really need your mint on card. I don't get a lot of figures autographed. I'm not a big autographed guy. And I spent time, we've talked about it on the channel before, I had pizza dinner with Mick Foley and Terry Funk one night. It was amazing. I wore something very similar to this, actually. But it was a beautiful night with 2 of my favorite wrestlers of all time. It's a moment I'll never forget, of course, so that was very cool. But if I ever meet Mick again, which sounds like he's coming to town here in, I think, January, February, I think I'm going to have to get this autographed. I think that's going to have to be in the cards for me. I feel like I need a representation in figure form of him autographed. There's a few guys I want that from, and he is one of them. I have Terry Funk already up in my collection, so I'm going to add this to that collection. So Cactus Jack, the Ringside exclusive, this is a can't-miss figure. If you're on the fence or have not picked this up, don't wait. Get it now. You're going to regret it if you don't. So there he is, number 2. Now, if I love number 2 this much, what could be number 1? All right, the time is here. The time is now. We are at number 1. Make sure you put your list in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit me up on social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, and of course, ProWrestlingTees.com. Support the channel. So for number 1 is a big wrestler. One of my all-time favorite wrestlers. When this guy debuted in WCW, that was my first time ever seeing him. Blew me away. Little Kyle, I still remember it. There's very few wrestler debuts that stuck with me like this one. I remember I was a little kid, 9 years old, I want to say it was. I remember I was out of the country at my grandpa and grandma's house, and on Saturdays, WCW was on, of course, and I had to get there. I had to be watching it. I was a kid of routines, and I wasn't going to miss any wrestling that was on TV, especially back in those days. And I'll never forget seeing the clip of "This Guy Is Coming" and just being absolutely blown away. I couldn't realize what I was seeing. It just didn't make sense. It was such a spectacle that was drawn out. And now we got this in figure form after all these years. Who is it? Who are we talking about? We're talking about the man they call Vader. Yes, Vader from Legends Series 10, the Target exclusive. Vader. That is my number 1 figure of 2021. Now, Vader's a big wrestler. He's a masked wrestler, but he takes the mask all the way to the next level more than others. He has the mighty Mastodon mask, and when they showed that debut, Vader is coming, and they showed him coming out in this mask, I was thinking, is he going to wrestle in this? Oh my gosh, is this what he wrestles in? And then he puts it down on the ground, and he does his, moves over it, and all of a sudden smoke comes flying out of the Mastodon helmet. This was just way over the top for young Kyle. I was here. I was loving it. I followed Vader from ever on from then, all the way through WCW, all that time, over to the WWF, and everything in between. A guy that is toyetic to the 10th degree. A beautiful figure. We've had elites of him in the past, but this is my favorite elite version because it is so versatile. We talk about buying multiple figures because of different heads and stuff. This one takes it to the next level. If you're a Vader maniac like myself, you need one mint on card. You need one displayed with his Mastodon helmet like so. You need one displayed with his mask. Remember when he used to wear a mask when he first started? You need this displayed. Then you need the display with the old jockstrap going on that he's got here. Then you need another one from there with just the plain Vader face. There's so many versatility issues here. You can move him around. You can choose your own Vader adventure with this one. So it doesn't get much better than that. I think I have 5 of these. I still need to unbox a few of them. This is one of those figures even my dad had to pick up. This is so toyetic. A guy that really doesn't collect wrestling figures. He'll pick up the Warlord because I gave it to him. He'll get some, but he came across this Vader at a Target store and he couldn't pass it up because it's just Vader from that moment in time, shrunk down to figure form with so many cool accessories, so many different looks, so many different, you can really display it however you like your Vader. You like him in a mask, you like him in the Mastodon helmet, you like him with no mask, you like him with his jockstrap on. You choose what Vader you want, and being so versatile, being so toyetic, being a character I love, there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to be number 1 for me this year. And like I said, a very strong year of figures, a lot of good stuff. Heck, we got 2 Ultimate Warriors this year. One of the Ultimate Warriors didn't even make the top 10, the Royal Rumble Elite. That tells you something for Kyle and what he liked in 2021. A fabulous, fabulous year. We look to the future in 2022. What will we see from Mattel? I think it's going to be a challenging year with a lot of roster guys cut out, a lot of new talent that I don't think will sell the best. As of right now, people just don't know them well enough, and you can't go to the Roman Reigns all the time and the Seth Rollins all the time. It's going to be an interesting year for the WWE, and of course, we're going to do an AEW top 10 countdown on the channel, so make sure you don't miss that. I got to think AEW is at a point to really step it up in 2022. They have a deep talent pool. A lot of people are, just hungry for figures of a lot of their talent. The Daniel Bryans, the CM Punks, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of characters that people want figures from, and I think we're going to get a lot of those guys in 2022. It'll be interesting to see how Mattel matches up and stacks up against them. I think next year will be the biggest, most interesting lists we've ever had for as far as wrestling countdown list. It's truly going to be quite the year in 2022 in the wrestling figure department. So there it is. There's my number 1. I'm going to ask you guys one last time. Make sure you put your top 10 in the comments down below, with number 1 being your favorite. I know it's a challenge sometimes, but you got to put them in order. There's a lot. Go to WrestlingFigureDatabase.com. You can search every figure. You can make your list from there if it makes it easier for you. And nice cheap plug for those guys. They do a good job out there giving us the list and pictures. I wish those things were around many years ago, but it's a fabulous list, just like we got a fabulous Vader. So for the Kyle Peterson Top 10, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.